Hey guys, I've been kind of radio silent for a while, you may have noticed, for obvious reasons. But I just got back here in Vegas after saying goodbye to my dad, and I was going to do one of my usual long-winded posts, but I thought I'd do a video instead. I wanted to give this speech at the wake, at the funeral, at the after thing. Every time my mom said, "Hey, you want to talk now?" I knew I wouldn't be able to keep my shit together. So I thought I'd just do a video now and let you guys know what I was thinking about. The main thing, well, first of all, I'm not a talker. You know that. But the main thing I wanted to get across was some of you may know, about 15 years ago, my dad had two really bad strokes, and he was paralyzed on one side, couldn't speak, couldn't communicate, and it pains me that some people, especially my kids, Jason Cree, my niece Kiela, Amy, and many other people, never knew the real Chick, before that. Chick 1.0, I'll call him. But so if I was gonna give a title to this speech, I would mangle Charles Dickens and call it A Tale of Two Chickies, because everyone called my dad Chicky, because there were two chicks. And before that, I just want you guys to know, my dad he was the shit, okay? He was so cool and super funny and smart and caring, loving, do anything for you. What I like to call a real guy. He was a real guy. Here's the thing. You have there's two different kinds of friends. You have your friends. They'll pick you up at the airport. They'll give you a ride. And then you have this much smaller circle of friends. These are your real guys. I'm talking about 3:30 in the morning, phone call. Dude, I'm in trouble. Come here right away and bring a shovel. But Chick was exactly one of those guys. And I'm not ashamed to say I made that phone call a couple of times. It may shock some of you that in my earlier years, I screwed up a few times. And there's one time, I won't bore you with the details, but let's just say at about 4 in the morning, me and the exit ramp to the Brooklyn Bridge had a terrible misunderstanding and totaled my brand new sports car. And I was scared. I didn't know what to do, but I knew who to call. And I called Chick. And I was ashamed. I called him, I just said, "Dad," I told him what happened. I said, "I screwed up." And he just had one sentence that he said. He said, "Are you safe?" I said, yeah, I'm okay." He said, "I'll be right there." 45 minutes later, he shows up, and I was so embarrassed, and I started tearing up. I said, "Dad, I screwed up. So sorry." He shrugged me off. He looked me over, a couple of cuts and scrapes. He said, "You're okay." He said, "You're okay. And that's all that matters." He said, "Let's get you home." Great man. He was a great man. A couple of weeks ago, when he was in the hospital, I posted about his health decline, and hundreds of people chimed in with well-wishers, wishing and stories, and I started to notice it was a common thread. This phrase kept coming up: great man. Especially guys from the old neighborhood. The real guys, the carny guys, the soccer guys, Scotch Club. They would say something like, "Loved your dad, We used to play horseshoes down at the Scots Club and drank beers. Great man. It was like punctuation at the end of a sentence, you know? Or somebody would say, we won that bowling tournament together that year. And we drank beers. Great man. Or, you know, we did that shuffleboard thing at that bar. And we drank beer. Great man. I didn't realize I was going to talk about drinking beer so much. This is like the Brett Kavanaugh confirmation hearing. But anyway, but he was a great man. And I want to tell 2 quick stories, if I may, to illustrate that. And the first one is, I'm going to go way back. This is Chick 1.0. I was probably 20, 21 years old. I think I was still in college. And my dad's company used to do a snow plowing service for some of the properties they had built. And it was really good money for a young kid. And one night, my dad says, why don't you come out and do some snow plowing? I said, sure. So we went out together. And it's hard work. It's a blinding snowstorm, blizzard. You know, you're working all night, 7, 8 hours. End of the night, we're finished. And my dad says, hey, Chris, great job. Why don't we grab a beer before we go home? So I said, okay, I don't know much about this beer you talk of, but I'll give it a shot. Okay. And anyway, we go to this local bar, and it's a little dive bar. So I immediately feel completely at home. But we go in, we get up to the bar, and it's actually this really nice wooden bar. And all the way at the end of the bar, the last bar stool, there's this little brass plaque on the bar. And it says, Chick seat. My dad is Chick. So I said, well, that's pretty awesome. So I asked the bartender, I said, what's up with that? He says, well, that's your dad's seat. And if anyone else is sitting there and your dad walks in the bar, I kick their ass right out of that seat and your dad sits down. Now, I don't know about you, but there are a few things cooler than that. I think that was pretty awesome. But this story gets better. So sit down. My dad orders us up a couple of beers. And one at a time, one by one, every other guy in the bar makes their way over to my dad. And it's like a pilgrimage. It's like in The Godfather, when they all come over and kiss, you know, the Don's ring. They all come over, they go, Chicky, and then there's big hugs, and they exchange pleasantries. And then every one of them, I swear to you, they would turn to me and say, you must be Chris. And I would say, yeah, hey, nice to meet you. And they would say, oh man, we were so proud of you when you did that tour that time with that guy. And then the next guy would, same thing, when you did that TV show or whatever. And then when you played that guitar solo, blah, blah, blah. They knew my whole history, everybody in the bar. And I looked at my dad and he just nodded. And they all said, oh, your dad's so proud of you. All he does is talk about you and how proud he is. And I was blown away. My dad just shook his head and smiled. Anyway, let's flash forward. Do we have time for one more story? I want to make sure. I don't want it to be like the Academy Awards where the orchestra plays you off, you know. Either that or Will Smith comes up and smacks me in the mouth. But let's flash forward. This is Chick 2.0. And I was making my Broadway debut in a show called Rock of Ages. And I was super excited. And my family and all my friends were there. And we do the big show, and I don't know if you've seen it. I run around and do a big Guitar Hero thing, and the crowd goes crazy. This is not about me. Forget about that. Anyway, we finish the show. I go out to the stage door. People there. I'm signing autographs, pictures. Again, not about me. But I get to the end of the line of people, and they're my people, my family and friends. And everyone's hugging and kissing. It was awesome. And finally I get to my dad, and he's in his wheelchair. He's just got this big grin on his face, and I kneeled down next to his wheelchair, and I whispered in his ear, and I said, "Dad, are you proud of me?" And I swear to you, for one split second, he turned into Chick 1.0. He turned into the old Chick. And he looked at me completely clear-eyed, and he didn't say it, but I knew. He did this thing where it was like, "Oh, forget about it. You kidding me? Of course I'm proud of you." And we both chuckled, and it was one of the greatest nights of my life. He was a great man. So I don't really have a good wrap up for this story. Maybe I do. Maybe let's go back to the beginning. Let's change it from A Tale of Two Chickies. That's cute, but I think there's a way better title for this. Let's just say it's John Phillip Cicchino, great man. I love you, Pop.